A very good afternoon to all my dear students. Mr. Om Gupta, Mr. Padhyay, Harshita, Ruhani, all of you, good afternoon, children. Yes, definitely, we'll have a revision of the previous class also. All those who have written the same, Mr. Manish, Sneha. Sneha is saying good morning, good afternoon, Sneha. Janvi, Pranathi, Pratyush, Khushi, Tamanna, Asha, all of you children, a very, very warm good afternoon. Though it's raining heavily on the north side of India, I don't know how the weather is there all over because many of you are from south. I can see many from the central places, but the weather is real different today. So, Ms. Deepika, Ankit, Saim, Parth, Fiza, Mohammed, all of you, a very good afternoon, children. So children, I hope you have revised the definitions that we did in the last class. We have started with the Sale of Goods Act 1930. We did the definitions. We discussed in detail what is a good, who is a buyer, who is a seller, Gautam, Jia, Gopal, all those who have joined us now, Ruby, Mansi. Good afternoon, children. Priya, Darshni, Amok. Welcome. Dolly Das, Kirti, Kriti, Palak, Monica, Renu Sharma, Amit, all of you. Yes, right, Mr. Pankaj, Shriya, Palak Agarwal, Tejal, Pooja, so many names, children. Mr. Om Patra, Miss Chaudhary Chaitanya. Good afternoon, children. So we have already started with Sale of Goods Act. We discussed about the definitions, who is a buyer, who is a seller, what are goods. Goods are the basic ingredients on the basis of which Sale of Goods Act is formed. So to have a quick revision about, yes, Mr. Likhit, study material is the Bible for all of you. You can refer to my notes in the presentation as well as the study material content. That is absolutely fine. Nothing beyond that is required to be studied. All right. Yes, Neha, it's raining here also. The network issues are coming now and then. So I hope we all stay connected thoroughly for next 2 hours and the weather does not put any hindrance between our studies. Okay, so we discussed about the goods, children. Just to have a quick revision, tell me, Fatafat, say what are the types of goods? Let's revise the previous class. Yes, Mr. Om Patra. Quickly tell me what are the categories of goods that we have done. Let's have a quick revision, quick test. We have done the categories of goods. Thank you so much, Mr. Krishna Katel. Thank you, Ms. Khushi. Thank you, all of you children. A very good afternoon and beautiful messages that you have sent. And Tamanna Charisma is the first one to send the correct answer. Excellent. I'm reading the types of goods that you have sent. Mr. Harsh Raj is asking for this attempt study material. Yes, you can study from the study material that you've got from the institute. That is sufficient. And if you have still not received the books, I told you the link is there on the ICI web portal. You can directly go and study from there also. Whatever content we are doing right now in the class, you can keep marking it there and keep revising your text from online study as well. Excellent. All of you are correct. Existing goods, future goods, and contingent goods. And my dear friends, existing goods are further divided into 3 categories. Many of you have written, many of you have skipped that part. So let's have a quick recall. Specific goods, ascertained and unascertained. And specific, that Dairy Milk Cadbury chocolate example, you can never forget. If you're very specific, you're very adamant, I only want that particular flavor chocolate, I only want that good, then it becomes the category of specific good. If I go to the market, I tell him I want a Samsung 7 inches long phone and it should be red in color. I'm very specific. I only want that particular product, then it becomes specific good. Something of which replacement is not possible. Ascertained, unascertained, we understood by understanding what is unascertained when the goods are lying in huge bulk and lot. ज्यादा क्वांटिटी में जब गुड्स इकट्ठे पड़े होते हैं वो अनअसर्टेन गुड्स होते हैं. आउट ऑफ देम व्हेन आई पिक अप द गुड्स आई पैक इट फॉर यू एंड आई मेक देम ascertained. Those are ascertained. Absolutely correct. Okay, so now let's move ahead. No worries, Mr. Om Patra, even if you have missed the previous class, You can catch up with us now also. We will be revising the. So today, largely what we're going to cover is differences between sale and agreement to sell, differences with bailment, hire purchase, all these differences will be covered today. So goods we have already discussed. I hope no doubts in that. Miss Hinglolkar, you're asking something, please send your question. How to study first chapter. So you can study along with us and just revise, keep revising whatever we have done in the class. That will help you to retain the information. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Divyanshi. I'm good. So future goods are those which are yet to be manufactured, yet to be produced. Example of this cow pictures and tomatoes which are yet to be grown, the milk that is yet to be yield with something deals with the future goods. And we also learned one thing, existing goods, we always have the contract of sale. And for future and contingent goods, we always have the agreement to sell. क्योंकि मेरे पास तो गुड्स अभी आए ही नहीं है, मैं सिर्फ एग्रीमेंट कर सकती हूँ फ्यूचर के लिए कि मैं आपको बाद में ये गुड्स बेचूंगी. सो कंटिंजेंट गुड्स एंड फ्यूचर गुड्स आर ऑलवेज फॉर द एग्रीमेंट टू सेल. ओके मिस्टर उपाध्याय, आई होप फ्यूचर गुड्स आर नाउ क्लियर. ऑल राइट. Difference between, Gangama is also asking difference between future goods and contingent goods. Okay, there's a very thin line of difference between future goods and contingent goods. Future goods is still the probability is in my hand, children. Remember that example of red pencil? I showed you a yellow pencil in my hand and I told the buyer that come after 10 days, we will be manufacturing the red pencil. Let's take another example. I have opened up the shoe shop. I am the Skechers dealer. तो शूज ब्रांड में आपको पता होगा स्केचर एक ब्रांड है. सो मिस गंगमा, यू केम टू माय शॉप एंड यू सेड मैम माय शू साइज इज 5. सो आई टोल्ड यू द shoe that you have selected, they are not having 5 size right now. Why don't you come after 15 days? We'll get it from a factory outlet. So now here I'm making an agreement to sell. So you want a huge bundle of 5 size of not sugar, 5 size shoes. And that size is not readily available. And now I'm giving you a commitment. I'm agreeing with you that my factory is already manufacturing and you come after so many days and you buy it. Now here we are talking about future goods, something which is yet to be manufactured and produced, and the goods will be coming and you can read. But when certain uncertainty is attached, when contingency is attached, contingent goods are, say, for example, those 50 pairs of shoes are sailing in a ship. They're coming by ship and they'll reach the Bombay port and then they will be uploaded from there. And then they will be bringing the truck till Delhi and it will be coming till my place. And then I will be transferring to you. Now, huge uncertainty is involved. Then it becomes contingent goods. So contingent and future hai, dono hi future se related, something which is yet to happen, but future goods still have some probability. I'm sure my factory is working, they will manufacture and you can come after so days. Contingent goods, I am also not sure. Any uncertainty, like the climate we just discussed about the class. So much waterlogging you must be hearing in the news. Floods are happening at some places. Waterlogging is happening. Goods get destroyed. So that is uncertainty, contingency. Kabhi bhi kuch bhi ho sakta hai. So happening or non-happening, which is not dependent, which might happen on certain events which are not in our hands. So that kind of sale where it is happening for those goods, it becomes contingent goods. All right. Okay. Harshita is now asking about the delivery. So first, you people tell me a certain goods. Miss Asha Begum, aapko abhi bhi nahi clear hua certain goods. So one doubt, please ask your doubt, children, specifically what is not clear. Because if you want me to repeat the entire chapter, then we will be only revising the first chapter that we have discussed, half of it. Half of it is still pending. Let me just complete today's syllabus and then again, maybe we can jump into the queries. All right. Yes, Venkat Lakshmi, we will be doing agreement to sell. That's great. So, Harshita, delivery, children, you remember she's asking difference between symbolic and constructive delivery. Yes, Mr. Pankaj Singh, that is a good example. You can call it contingent as well. It's not beyond, it becomes a Dolly Das and Vikash and Aditi have sent me the 3 types of delivery are actual, constructive, symbolic. That's absolutely correct. Vikash Jha, that's right. Where the ownership is not in your hands, that is also correct, Vikash. All right. So now actual delivery, children, let's have a quick revision. Many of you are again asking about delivery of goods. If I'm bringing the car, I'm giving it to you. This big basket guy holding the goods, taking the goods out from his truck and giving it to you. It's actual delivery. I'm giving you the keys of the car, or I'm giving you the keys of the warehouse in which the goods are placed. Symbolic delivery. Symbolic means symbolize कर देना, इशारा दे देना, भी ऐसा कुछ काम कर दिया जिससे डिलीवरी मान लिया जाए. गाड़ी दी नहीं है बट कीज दे दी, तो कीज दे दी तो आप अपने आप जाकर अब कीज गाड़ी में लगाइए और गाड़ी घर ले आइए. So it's simple. Now constructive delivery is something where acknowledgement is involved. Neither I'm giving you the keys nor I'm giving you the car, but the warehouse guy has acknowledged, he has told you that yes, the goods are with me. Please come and take them from me whenever you are available. So here acknowledgement is happening. In case of, yes, children, is my voice clear? Many of you have written the voice is lagging in between. Again, I told you the weather is very, very unpredictable today. So please have full concentration. Raj Kothari, please now make me clear whether the voice is clear. Yes, Manish saying when the goods are in the process of production, they will be considered as future goods. And Miss Fiza Afreen, absolutely correct. When somebody is holding the goods on our behalf, that is the constructive delivery. Thank you all those who have written, yes, ma'am, the voice is clear. Please check your internet connectivity also, those who were not able to hear. Thank you, students, for making it clear. So, children, change in custody, Ms. Nishgarg. Again, custody, we will be talking when we talk at length about the property of goods today. So I hope constructive delivery is now clear. Somebody is holding the goods on your behalf. किसी के पास आपके goods रखे हुए हैं, that is constructive delivery. Symbolic में we have given the keys of the car or any other documents or other kind of thing. Documents also. If I've given you the document of title to goods, then also it is a symbolic delivery. Okay, so Gangama, when we go to the study material, please remind me about this example 6. When we open the study, we will revise this example number 6 once again. Okay. Thank you, Vidushi, Om, Raj Kothari, Kushal, Pavan, Harshita, Komalpreet, all of you for clearing it. Tamanna, Akruti, that voice is clear. Sundaran, thank you so much. Okay, so now let's start with a new fresh topic, that is document of title to goods. So students, now this is a very, very interesting topic. Sounds a bit tough, but again, it's very, very simple. Document of title to goods, the word title means ownership. I think I told you last time also. The word title means ownership of goods. Now, either I'm giving you the goods, symbolic delivery, you all have understood. You all have understood that symbolic delivery is one where either I'm giving you the keys or I'm giving you the document of title to goods. So even if I have given you certain document, let me just open your study material also along with that. So document of title to goods is a kind of a document which shows the ownership of the goods. So even I have not send you the goods directly. I have, say, for example, A in Delhi is selling the goods to Mr. B in Bombay. So he said, okay, your goods will be coming. I will be loading your goods in a truck today and I will be issuing a lorry receipt. Why don't you get your goods downloaded when they reach in your city? All right. So here, Mr. A is here with us. We have Mr. A with us, who is sitting in Delhi. He said that I am going to send my goods to Mr. B in Bombay. Now, if he's sending the goods through a truck, he will be using lorry receipt. If he sends the goods through railways, he will be using railway receipts. If I'm sending the goods through aeroplane, I will be using airway bills. And if I'm sending my goods from Bombay airport further to London port, I am sending via ship. Then I will be using a document known as bill of lading. So all these are the documents which are used in the transportation of goods. They sound as if something a very big topic we are doing. Simply first understand, you must have studied about this if you're a commerce student in your class 11th and 12th business studies books. You have understood about these documents where if you're transporting the goods by truck, lorry receipt issue hoti hai, railway se ja rahe to railway receipt issue hoti hai. All these are the documents which are used for transportation of goods. Whenever I'm transporting the goods, I use all these kinds of documents. So now what is the meaning of document of title to goods? All these are the document which gives you the ownership. Now when A is selling the goods to B in Bombay and the goods are uploaded in truck, Mr. A will issue 4 lorry receipts. First is the original copy that he will send to Mr. B. Second is the copy which he'll give to the truck driver. Third will be sent for the accounts department for doing all the accounting kind of work. And fourth will be retained by him. So tomorrow any mishap happen, he's having the receipt. So this is just to explain you, he will be sending an original copy, signed copy of lorry receipt to Mr. B in Bombay as well. अब इस lorry receipt में क्या लिखा होगा? How much quantity of goods is coming? What is the quality of goods? What is the price of goods? Or maybe if he is sending it through railways, I have issued a railway receipt. Now when the train will reach on in Bombay station, that guy, Mr. B, will come and show this railway receipt that I own these goods, please give it to me. So railway authorities will match that, yes, this is the railway receipt I'm having. Mr. B is also showing me the same railway receipt. I will give him the goods. So document of title to goods means ownership transfer होगी. उस document के through ही मैंने अपने goods किसी और के owner, किसी और को ownership transfer कर दी. So now it is only the collection of goods which is pending by showing this document of title to goods. Now let's come and further read it. It says, after this topic, we'll see that example 6 also that somebody was asking. Document of title to goods, it says it means bill of lading, dock warrant, warehouse. Now, all these first 4 documents, bill of lading, dock warrant, warehouse keeper certificate, war finger, all these are used in transportation of goods through ship. Dock is again a place where the boxes, where the goods are kept in a ship. Before loading the goods in a ship, children, we have a warehouse where the goods are to be stored. So आप अपना माल लेकर आए, सामान लेकर आए, ship में goods पहुंचाने से पहले, ship might be sailing in the sea. You have to wait for the ship to land. So warehouse go down. So warehouse keeper certificate is issued when the goods are stored in that godown. Further, you place the goods in a dock. Before uploading the goods in the ship, they are placed in a dock from where the goods are picked and placed in the wharfs. Wharfs एक जैसे आप हिंदी में समझते हैं खाने बने होते हैं. Different kind of boxes in the ship where the goods needs to be placed, so they are kept safely, not getting damaged from the water. They're not getting destroyed while getting sailing in the ship. So all these steps of keeping the goods in your warehouse keeper receipt is issued. Then you ship the goods to the dock warrant. The dock warrant guy will issue a dock warrant receipt. Then a wharfinger loading of the goods in the ship, he will issue a wharfinger certificate. Finally, the captain will come, all the goods are well in place, and he will issue a bill of lading. अब ये bill of lading जो receipt issue हो जाती है, this is the final receipt which will be sent to the buyer. Also, the seller will get this bill of lading. Okay, fine, goods are well in place. He will send the copy of this to the buyer. So when the goods reaches the other international port, the buyer will come, he will show the signed copy of bill of lading and he will take the goods. So all this wharfinger, warehouse, dock warrant, these are just a step of loading the goods in the ship. You don't have to go into much detail. You should simply be concerned about transporting of goods with bill of lading. Once the bill of lading has been given to another person, it means document of transfer of goods, ownership of goods have been transferred. Another can be railway receipt. हमने अभी बात करी ट्रेन से goods भेज रहे हो तो railway receipt. Multimodal transport means different modes of transport. I loaded the goods in train, they went till Delhi, then they get uploaded in a plane, airway bill is used, they reached Pune, they get download from there, We used a truck. Lorry receipt is different kind of receipts. Multimodal transport document means कभी आप railway receipt issue कर रहे हो, कभी airway, different receipts अभी. These are just the documents used in the ordinary course of business as a proof of the possession or control of the goods and authorizing either by endorsement or delivery to transfer or receive the goods. तो ये documents क्या हैं, इनको points पे कर लेते हैं. पहले हमें ये पता लग गया that these are the documents, all the names given for the different means of transport. Bill of lading कह लो या railway receipt कह लो या lorry receipt, these are the names. Number 2, these are used for the delivery of goods. जब मुझे goods deliver करने हैं किसी को एक जगह से दूसरी जगह में, then we use these documents. And number 3, in the ordinary course of business. Business में use हो रहे हैं. ये नहीं कि हरलीन मैम को आपने फोन करा, मैम मुझे गुड्स भेज दो, मैंने अपने घर से गुड्स भेज दी अपने किसी स्टूडेंट को, तो मैंने डॉक्यूमेंट ऑफ टाइटल टू गुड्स. इट शुड बी एन ऑर्डिनरी बिजनेस. I should be in the business of sending, trading activity, commercial transactions should be involved. Then only you can use this document of title. ठीक है, so in the ordinary course of business you are using it as a proof. Number 4 point, just to give the proof that the goods belong to you now. Your name is written, name of the seller, name of the buyer. Abhi I will show you the receipts from the presentation, how the receipts actually look like. Okay, so it gives the proof that you are having the possession or control of the goods, and also it is giving me the right to endorse it or to deliver it. Point number 5 is either I can deliver the goods through this. रेलवे रिसीट आपने दिखाई मुझे, मैंने आपकी चेक करी एंड रेलवे अथॉरिटीज ने आपको गुड्स डिलीवर कर दी. Now, what is the meaning of this word endorsement? Ma'am, you told me delivery of the goods, but why it is talking about endorsement? Endorsement means further transferring this document to another person. So while A sent the goods to B and the railway receipt was to be issued, this Mr. D is a buyer in Bombay who further has to purchase the goods from Mr. B. So A in Delhi is sending the goods to Mr. B in Bombay, but Bombay में जो Mr. B बैठे हैं उनका एक dealer है Mr. D who want to take these goods from Mr. B. So Mr. B told him, look, my goods are still in the train. Mr. A has sent him. Here is the railway receipt. Once the goods come, I will go to the railway authorities. I will show the railway receipt. I'll collect the goods and give it to you. But Mr. D says, no, I'm in a hurry. I have to make the sale for them. So Mr. B says, okay, fine. You take this railway receipt. And in place of me, you go and stand there and show it to railway authorities and take it. Take the goods to yourself. Make me the payment right now and I'm selling you the goods on the basis of this railway receipt. It means on the basis of this document of title to goods. Why? Because Mr. B is having this document of title that this announces that he is the owner of the goods. Tomorrow when you show this document, he will get the goods. So he told Mr. D that instead of me, why don't, so he endorsed it further. Endorse kar dena, aage kisi ko further transfer kar dena. So बिना goods उसके पास आए ही उसने sale of goods further कर दी. This is the relevance and importance of the document of title to goods, that either the goods can be transferred by delivery or by endorsing this receipt further to someone also, the sale can be made. So now Mr. D went and showed this railway receipt, A gave the goods to him. So this proves that whosoever is having this document will be considered as the owner of the goods. Title का मतलब होता है owner. तो जिसके पास भी ये वाली receipt होगी, bill of lading, example, bill of lading, dock warrant, warehouse, off in the railway, order or delivery of goods. An order is also considered as a document. कई बारी आप सिर्फ एक order बना देते हो, okay? Yes, sale bill is also Sundaran, Mr. Sundaran C. Sale bill will also be considered as a proof. The endorsement is now clear. I could see a lag in between the internet. I could also see that it happened. So I hope now it's clear, children. I explained the entire meaning of endorsement. I hope you have understood. If you have not, I'll explain it to you again. So once you are clear about the document of title to goods, title means ownership. This document tells that you are the owner of the goods. The person who goes and shows this document to the person, transporter who is getting the goods, he will get the goods considering this the proof for the transportation of the goods. Now, if you want to sell the goods further to someone, thank you, Venkat Lakshmi. She says now it's clear. Yes, Mr. Amit, it's all because of the weather. Can't help it. Mr. Tarun, Dharani, Naveen. Mr. Naveen is saying Hindi में बोलिए. बच्चा पूरा lecture Hindi में नहीं बोल सकते. We have to balance the language in between. Okay, Mrs. Akruti Thakur. Now I'm explaining the meaning of endorsement once again. So please hear it carefully. Miss Sahana. All right. So endorsement means selling the goods further, transferring the goods further to someone. So I have endorsed the document further. So I was just telling you this Mr. B sold the goods to Mr. D by endorsing. उसने उस receipt के पीछे लिख दिया sold to Mr. D. Now Mr. D will go and show this receipt to the railway authorities and he can get the goods collected from the railway authorities. So this is a very important document, children, a title to the goods which shows you the ownership. That means whosoever is holding this document, please write it down. Whosoever is holding this document will be considered as the owner of the goods. Will be considered as the owner of the goods. All right. Okay. So now अरबाज हिंदी में इसका मतलब होता है कि जिसके पास भी ये डॉक्यूमेंट है उसको गुड्स का ओनर मालिक माना जाएगा बिकॉज डॉक्यूमेंट में ये लिखा जाता है कि ए ने बी को अगर गुड्स बेचे हैं उसका नाम, बायर का, सेलर का नाम, बायर का नाम, एंड क्योंकि उसे गुड्स रिसीव करने हैं दूसरी प्लेस पे इसलिए वो अपना ये डॉक्यूमेंट दिखाकर गुड्स कलेक्ट कर ले. Okay, all my Hindi friends, I hope you have now understood. Yes, Mr. Saurabh, Zomato delivery is also the actual delivery. Okay, you don't need any document of title to transfer. You have made the payment, you have ordered the food, he will give you the food. It's an actual delivery. Miss Nishi Garg, document of title to goods show the whosoever is holding this document will be considered as the owner of the goods. Now this line is very, very important. Yes, Komalpreet, this is a very interesting question. If somebody steals this document, then that's why it is said that you have to be very careful about such kind of documents, the invoices that you make. Although it can be considered as a case of theft also, situation will be different. Mr. Saurav is also asking if someone steals it and they are not the owners. Actions can be taken against them. Police investigation can be done. But as far as your business law is concerned, as far as sale of goods is concerned, it clearly tells you that this document, it also has the other categories, characteristics attached to it. Proof has to be given. But as far as this document is concerned, if you show it, it gives a proof of the possession. So maybe the other person might be giving him some hint that this is the person. Maybe आप phone पे एक बारी बात कर लेते हो कि हाँ जी इसी को goods देने हैं, confirmation ले लेते हो. These are the steps which are taken just to be doubly assured. Okay. So stealing of the document is not a case where you can, just pick up the things. Like you must have said it about minor. A contract with minor is not legal. But now if a minor starts doing that thing and try to misuse, like Mahori Bibi versus Dharmodas Ghosh mein aapne padha hoga, even if the land on mortgage he was taken, he could not, he was not forced to refund the money. So you have to understand law, but never misuse the law. Okay. So here our understanding of the law is important. How people are going to exploit it, how people are doing wrong things out of that, we don't have to go into that wrong directions. As a professional, we always have to have a correct approach of the things. So this document, now you will understand why this document is different from document showing the title and document of title. Yes, you all are correct. If you have this document of title in hand, I will consider you the owner of the goods. And even if you're not the owner, I might land up giving the goods to you. Because document of title to goods, proof ही इस चीज का है, evidence ही इस चीज का है कि जिसके हाथ में है उसको हम owner माने. But document showing title is different, children. For example, a share certificate or maybe your fixed deposit receipt. किसी ने FD कराई हुई है अपने नाम पे. अब अगर मेरी FD receipt है, उस पे लिखा हुआ है हरलीन कौर FD. If that gets stolen and somebody goes and show it to the bank is never going to give them the money. Because this is the document which only shows the title. It only tells you who is the owner. It does not make the holder the owner. So document of title to goods makes the person who is holding this document the owner of the goods. However, the document showing the title only tells who is the owner of this goods. It cannot be transferred by delivery. This document can be transferred by delivery. आपने समझा, endorsement भी हो सकता है. मिस्टर डी को हमने फर्दर गुड्स भेज दिए, डिलीवरी कर भी ट्रांसपोर्टर इनको ट्रांसफर कर सकते. But document showing title cannot be transferred further. For example, share certificate में it only shows the name of the person who is entitled to these shares. For example, if you have taken certain shares in Reliance, then you become the owner of those shares. The share certificate shows your name, Miss Ayushi, you are the owner of 6,000 shares in Reliance. But it will not allow the person to transfer the shares mentioned by endorsement and delivery. You cannot write on the back of it, I am endorsing it further to someone, or you cannot just transfer this share certificate to someone else. However, document of title to goods में आप further transfer कर सकते हो, but document showing title like property papers, ये भी document showing title है, share certificate, FD, FDs, fixed deposit receipts, all these are the document which shows the title. They cannot be transferred further. Clear हो गया? Understanding हो गई अब आपको. Just learn this kind of definition. And another question, since you will be asking, maid's receipt. Maid's receipt is also a document used in the transportation of goods by ship. वो कहता है जो तो bill of lading है, कैप्टन ने आकर goods check करे, bill of lading दी, वो तो document of title to goods है. But maid's receipt एक और बीच में रास्ता होता है. While you're loading the goods to the ship, a crew of the ship comes and he checks the goods are well in place. At that time, he's just issuing an acknowledgement. Maid's receipt एक वो issue करता है ship में goods डालने से पहले. Crew of the ship will issue. He is just giving you an acknowledgement for the receipt of the goods. That fine, your goods, we have taken your goods. So this document is not the transferring the title. It shows unconditional undertaking. It says the document of title to goods will only be considered that document where there is an unconditional undertaking of delivering the goods to the holder. In document of title to goods, you always have the undertaking. I am delivering the goods. Now, I am using the railway receipt to deliver the goods to the other person. I am using the airway bill to transport the goods on air place. I am using bill of lading for transportation of goods. But maid's receipt, share certificate, FD receipts, property papers, these are not used for delivery of goods. So these are the document which only shows the title, not the document of title. All right, children, I hope this document of title is clear. Let's move ahead to another very interesting definition of mercantile agent. Now, who is a mercantile agent? Section 2, subsection 9. All those who are asking me, ma'am, we have to learn the sections also. So as far as your CA foundation is concerned, sections are not compulsory. If you can learn them, learn it, but never ever write a wrong section. I always, every day almost, I repeat this line, never write a wrong section. It gives a very bad impression. Better you don't learn the sections if you can't learn. Now, agent means a person who sells in the course of business, either sell the goods, consign the goods, or even pledge those goods. Raising money on security of goods means he can also pledge your goods. What is the meaning of this line? To raise money on the security of goods means agent can also pledge the goods. What is the meaning of pledge and what is the meaning of mortgage? We need to understand in order to understand many things in case of sale. So before we understand the definition of mercantile agent, let me explain you briefly the meaning of pledging of the goods. So pledge of goods means, I think I explained you in the last class also, when I told you immovable property is not covered. Okay. So Mr. A took loan from bank by giving his watch. I gave you this example. By giving his gold to the bank. Now on repayment of loan, bank will return his gold. This is what is the meaning of pledge, pledging the goods. A ने लोन लिया बैंक से अपना गोल्ड देकर and on repayment जब वो पैसा वापस कर देगा लोन का, बैंक will return his gold. Does the bank become the owner? Tell me. Does the bank become the owner of gold when A pledged the gold with the bank? You have to answer me, children. Will the bank become the owner of the gold? A pledged the gold. Will he become the owner? Sundaran C, I hope mates to see it now is clear. Thank you, those who have written crystal clear. Good. Pledging is security of movable property. Very good, Aryan Raj. Excellent. No, ma'am, he will not become the owner. Purva, Maurya, Roshni, Saloni, Miss P, Yamini, all of you are correct. Why he will not become the owner? Because this is not sale of goods. Here I'm just raising money by giving the goods on a security. So he says agent is a person who can, all of you have answered, no ma'am, that's correct. Mathivathana, Mr. Mathivathana, Sundaran C, you're saying yes, that's wrong. Suchain, that's correct. No is the correct answer. Okay. So why he will not become the owner? Because we are just pledging the goods. We are giving the movable goods as a security just to raise money. So now this entire history, geography of pledge was explained to make you understand that agent is a person who can sell my goods, who can send the goods on consignment also, and he can also pledge my goods. This is the right which has been given to him under section 2, subsection 9 of Sale of Goods Act. So agent hota kaun hai? For example, me, I'm sitting in Chandigarh. I want to open up another shop in Delhi. So it is very difficult to commute from Chandigarh to Delhi every day. So I called up Mr. P. Will you work for me? Can you be my agent who open the same store in Delhi and you work for me and sell the goods from there? So he's working on my behalf. He's working as my agent. Now that Mr. P can sell the goods, consign the goods, and even if loan is required for the purpose of business, he can even pledge my goods. This is the right which has been given to him under Sale of Goods Act 9. But this agent cannot take loan on my goods for educating his children. So you cannot say that agent, for example, agent take loan for educating his children and he's pledging my goods further. That cannot be done. He can only pledge the goods for the purpose of business. Such agents are also known as auctioneers or brokers. Auctioneers means those who put sale on auction, and brokers होते हैं जो आपके stock market में share trading में deal करते हैं. Now let's come to the definition of property. One, you have written title means ownership. Children, property also means ownership of the goods. What is the meaning of property? Here we are not talking about buying some huge immovable property. Here, movable and immovable का clear कर दूं. Pledge की case में we always use the word pledge when we are raising money by giving the security of movable goods. When we use the word mortgage, it is used for raising the money on security of immovable property. So here we will never talk about the word mortgage. Why? Because sale of goods does not deal with the immovable property. We always deal with the movable goods. Pledge के केस में हम हमेशा movable goods की बात करें. तो अभी हम ownership में भी, property में भी इसके बारे में बात करेंगे. तो we will always be talking about the movable goods, never about the immovable goods. So property means the ownership of the goods and it always means the general property. अब कहते हैं दो तरह की प्रॉपर्टीज होती है गुड्स में. एक होती है जनरल प्रॉपर्टी, एक होती है स्पेशल प्रॉपर्टी. General property means transferring the ownership of goods from seller to buyer. A sells the pen to B. I sold this marker to Mr. B. So before selling this marker, who's this marker? It's Harleen ma'am's marker. I sold it to Mr. B. Now who becomes the owner? Am the owner, Mr. A, the seller, or B becomes the owner? Yes, ma'am. Quickly you will answer, ma'am. Mr. B becomes the owner. Once I sell this pen to him, he becomes the owner immediately. Why? Because property in the goods has been transferred, means ownership of the goods has been transferred. Now, whether he throw this pen, he writes with it, he keeps it as a, he just possesses just as a memory that he got from me, or whatever you want to do it, he can just keep this pen. He can do whatever he wants because he becomes the owner of this pen. Once I've sold it to someone, the other person becomes the owner. That means the property in the goods means the ownership in the goods has been transferred to the other person. इसके जो भी राइट्स हैं, ओनरशिप के राइट्स हैं, वो दूसरे बंदे को, बायर को मिल गए. And not just a special property. Now this word bothers a lot. What is special property? Now when I gave the goods to the banker for pledging, you all answered me, man, that was not a sale. Banker did not become the owner. But remember, I told you in the last class, if A would have not repaid the loan, then bank can sell that gold and recover his money. ऐसा कर सकता है bank. He will sell your gold and he will recover his loan money. So that means a special property has been passed. Special rights have been given to the banker in case of pledge. That is only in the special circumstances he can dispose of my goods. He can sell off my goods. But when I just give the goods as a security for taking loan, till the time I don't pay the money, he cannot do anything of my goods till the time period which has been given. He will be acting as a pledgee, or you can say as a bailee. He will be acting as a pledgee or as a bailee who has the right to retain the goods till the payment of the stipulated dues. Means he can only hold my goods. Retain का मतलब होता है goods hold करना. He will only hold my goods only till the time my payment is not paid. Once you make your loan repayment, he will release your goods. So जो हमने अभी example pledge का पढ़ा था, उस केस में special property A has given to B, banker, special property in goods. But where I sold this pen to you, A sell the pen to B, general property in the goods is given in case of sale. Clear hai? Let's read this example. A who owns certain goods pledges them to B. A has general property in the goods, whereas B has special property in the goods to the extent of the amount of advance. Ye example number 15 is exactly the example that I just wrote over here in my own words about pledge. It is talking about the same thing. I hope everyone is clear about it. Now let's move to insolvency. A person is said to be insolvent when he ceases to pay off his debt. Ceases means he fails to pay off. Now he is no longer able to pay off his debts. So a person is declared to be insolvent. हिंदी में इसको बोलते हैं दिवालिया निकल जाना. किसी के पास पैसे ही नहीं बचे, अपना बिजनेस बंद करना पड़ रहा है, बिजनेस ठप हो जाना. You don't have money to pay off your debts. आपके लेनदार खड़े हैं, क्रेडिटर्स खड़े हैं जिनसे आपने उधार लिया. डेट्स मीन्स उधार. तो आपके पास पैसे नहीं है उन्हें पे करने की. That is the meaning of fails to pay to his debts in the ordinary course of business, or he cannot pay his debts when they become due. Whether he has done the act of insolvency or not, that is not important. Insolvency act means insolvency का एक अपना पूरा act है जिसमें कुछ information or detail में दी हुई है. We don't need to go into that. We simply need to understand the meaning of an insolvent person. A person who is not able to pay off his debts is known as insolvent person. Okay, if for example your assets are only 50,000 and you have to pay 10 lakhs of payments, then law will declare you insolvent because you don't have sufficient assets to dispose of your liabilities. And what is the meaning of price? Price is the monetary consideration for the sale of goods. We discussed yesterday also, barter system is not part of Sale of Goods Act. But if I tell you A sold the goods to B for rupees 10,000 and B partially paid 2,000 rupees for these goods in cash and gave a watch worth rupees 8,000. Will it be considered as a transaction of sale of goods? Yes or no? He paid monetary consideration of 2,000 and 8,000 worth he gave him the goods or any other thing. Will it be considered as sale of goods or no? Miss Neha Gupta, bank will not be the owner, but you can say that bank will get the special property in the goods. Only in special circumstances he can sell off the goods. Yes, Khushi, that was correct. Ms. Divyanshi, entire syllabus has to be covered. Don't worry, it will happen. Just keep revising what we are doing. Mr. Mathiv Sundran, mortgage is the word which is used for raising money on security of immovable property. So if you have given your house as a security, you have you went to for the housing loan and you said that I'm mortgaging my house, I'm giving this house as a security, and then you take the loan. That is the transaction of mortgage. It is not covered under sale of goods. Manisha says only 2,000 will be sale. Why, Manisha? Thank you, Mrs. Tisha. I'm so happy you're enjoying the session. Okay. Now, very interesting answers. If I start reading what answers you have written, you will all have a huge laugh. Somebody saying only 2,000 will be sale. Somebody saying it will not be considered as sale. Somebody saying it is a complete sales. Accounting part. I don't know what all you are writing. Okay. Yes, ma'am, it will be considered. Mr. Suchang, your answer is absolutely correct. Even if partly you are paying in cash, if you are partly paying in goods, then also, yes, it will be considered as sale. The essential requirement is that something in cash must be paid. If monetary consideration is involved, then it will be considered as a transaction of sale of goods. Clear? Hai? All those who have written yes, that's correct. I don't know, Rohit, why have you jumped into EMI situation? When we go to hire purchase, we will talk. Right now, we will not talk about this. Okay. Ms. Tamanna, all the notes of this unit have been uploaded on your portal. You can download it from there. Sale is 8,000, but for seller is 20,000. Nishi girl, 20,000 I never wrote. 2,000 was the word. So it will be the entire contract will be covered for the sale, because if some monetary consideration has been paid, even if you're paying the balance in goods, then also as far as the price will be considered to the complete consideration. Okay. All right. Quality of goods we cover when we talk about conditions and warranties in chapter number 2. Let us quickly come to the sale and agreement to sell differences. So children, definition of sale we have already done. Quickly tell me the definition of agreement to sell. I will be asking you because yesterday we have already discussed. You have to answer me without cheating it from your study material. What is the meaning of agreement to sell? Sale of goods is cases where the property in the goods get transferred to the buyer immediately, it is a contract of sale. A sold the goods to B, A was the seller, B is the buyer, B immediately becomes the owner of the goods. What is the meaning of agreement to sell? When does the transfer of property happens? Is it happening today, tomorrow, immediately, or when? Okay, many of my children have written, ma'am, agreement to sell is for future and contingent goods. That's nice. बेचने के लिए तैयार नहीं है. Okay, Krishna, Mr. Upadhyaya has written, we are not ready to sell the goods. Okay, so you have made the agreement when sale. Miss Angel, beautiful. When sale is going to happen in future. Mrs. Anshika promised to sell in future. That's correct. The goods which are to be sold in future. That's absolutely correct. Mr. Saurabh, insolvency, don't worry. We will be talking at length about insolvency of buyer and seller. जब हम अभी differences के points करेंगे, तब आपका ये answer cover हो जाए. Okay? Mr. Saurabh, I hope you have heard it. Miss Chandana is saying agreement to sell means sale for movable property, not for immovable. Don't say like this. What is this? Immovable property is never a part of sale of goods, children. Please. Sale of goods is always for movable property. Okay, Mr. Bittu saying mercantile agent, we will repeat again, don't worry. Where there's an agreement to sell the goods at a future date is absolutely a correct and beautiful answer. Many of you have written that. Great. So here, but please, those who are writing about movable and immovable property के ऊपर sale of goods act applicable नहीं होता है. हमारा sale of goods act सिर्फ movable means जिनको एक जगह से दूसरी जगह पर ले जाया जा सकता है, move करा जा सकता है. That is known as movable goods. Sale means transferring of the ownership immediately to the buyer. A sell this pen to B, B becomes the buyer immediately. A said, I will get manufactured 10 pens, come after 15 days or come after 15 months. Then I will give you the goods at a future date or certain conditions have been attached. It is known as agreement to sell. I am very happy all those who have written agreement to sell is for future and contingent goods. Great, that's nice. But if examiner asks you to define it, first give the definition that here the ownership is not transferred immediately. Certain conditions are to be fulfilled, or maybe at a future date, the property and the goods get transferred. Then it is known as an agreement to sell. Clear हो गया? सबसे important बात यहाँ पे याद रखने वाली है. In case of sale, who becomes the owner immediately? The buyer becomes the owner immediately. However, in case of an agreement to sell, till the date of sale, seller remains the owner. Please write it down in your notebooks or in the study if you have. Till the time of sale is made, till the time sale, in case of sale, buyer becomes the owner immediately. In case of sale, buyer becomes the owner immediately. However, in case of an agreement to sell, seller remains the owner. All right. Let me just cover a few points of differences from presentation and then we'll take a small break. So this is how the document of title to goods look, children. Bill of lading, railway receipt. You can give a reference to them in your presentation, which is already uploaded on the portal. Share certificate. If you can see the name of Mr. John Addo is written over here. If you go and show this share certificate, it only the owner is Mr. John Adam Barrow. He only owns this document. But if any one of you have this doc receipt, yes, you can go and claim the goods. But you have to bear the consequences if you have stolen it. Okay. So basically you just have to remember that this document gives you the proof that you can collect the goods. However, share certificate is just a document showing the title. Property we have already discussed. Definition of sale and agreement to sell is clear. Let us quickly cover a few points of differences and then we'll take a break. Here the property gets transferred immediately. What is the meaning of property, children? Ownership. Yes, I can imagine you all are saying ownership. Had you been sitting in front of me, I would have asked you to raise your hands and tell me. So here it gets transferred at a future date. Executed contract. Remember contract, Indian Contract Act, on the basis of performance, there are two types of contracts, executed and executory. Executory is further divided into two forms, unilateral and bilateral. Sale, I sold you the goods, you took the goods to your home, executed contract. Goods given, payment made, everything done. Agreement to sell is an executory contract, means something is yet to happen. I am still to give you the goods, you are still to make the payment, so it is an executory contract. Here the burden of risk is on the buyer. I have sold you the goods, you have to take it from my godown. Tomorrow if the goods get destroyed in my godown, who will bear the risk? The buyer will bear the risk. Why? Because here buyer is the owner. In case of sale of goods, the buyer is the owner. In case of an agreement to sell, seller remains the owner. Let's take an example. A sold the goods to B and he told Mr. B that your goods are lying in my godown, they are ready. It is the case of contract of sale. Goods have been sold. And he told Mr. B, please come and collect your goods. And somehow situation like which is today, heavy rainfall, waterlogging happened and all the water entered in his godown, entire goods got destroyed. अब लॉ कहते हैं अगर तो ये केस ऑफ सेल था, contract of sale was there, buyer will have to bear the loss. Why? Because buyer becomes the owner immediately in case of sale. But if it was only the case of agreement to sell, like where I told that Gangama that your shoes of Skechers, I will be making them ready and you come at a future date and you then buy it from me. In that case, I will have to bear the loss because it was the case of agreement to sell. All right. So in case of sale, buyer will bear the risk. In case of agreement to sell, seller will bear the risk. Any subsequent loss or destruction. You took this pen from my shop and somebody stolen it from you. You are the buyer, you will bear the loss. I sold you the goods. So you went to the ice cream vendor, you took 5 ice creams from him and you paid the money and your friends came and they just took the ice creams from your hand. Is it the vendor's fault? He cannot do anything. It is your loss. You should take care of your thing once you have purchased because you are the owner. So any subsequent means बाद में. एक बार चीज परचेज करने के बाद कोई भी लॉस होगा, buyer will have to bear that liability. In an agreement to sell, I have not yet sold you the things. I am the owner, so seller will only have to bear all the losses. In case of sale, it is the case of just in rem. Just in rem, children, please write down. Just in rem means rights against the whole world. Rights against the whole world. However, just in personam means rights against a particular person. Rights against a particular person. So it says in sale of goods, in contract of sale, I sold you this pen. Now this is your pen. You write with it, you throw it in the dustbin, you break it, whatever you want to do, you can do because you have all the rights of the universe for this pen. ये अब आपकी चीज है. आप लेवाइस में गए, आपने एक पेयर ऑफ जीन्स खरीदा, आप बायर हो, आप ओनर बन गए, you have made the payment, make shorts out of that jeans, you make a bag out of those jeans, you just wear it as you want to wear it, you gift it to someone, you have all the rights for that property, for that goods. That is known as just in rem. You get all the rights for that particular goods. However, I was the manufacturer, seller, I made an agreement that your jean will be ready after 10 days. You come and pick it from me. Now, this is the case of agreement to sell. After 10 days, I said, I will not give it to you. Now you only have rights against that particular person. Just in persona means agreement to sell में personal rights hai. You don't get the rights to the whole world. You will not go to the next shopkeeper and start fighting why she has not given my jean. You can only fight a case with me. So in agreement to sell, you can only have the rights against that particular buyer or a seller, whosoever is breaching the contract. However, in case of sale, you get all the rights against the whole world with that particular goods. In case of sale, can the seller resell the goods? I sold you this pen, you have taken this pen from me. Buyer is the owner, seller cannot resell the goods. However, in case of agreement to sell, I am still the owner, I am the seller. Tomorrow, if I don't wish to sell the goods, I like for Skechers shoes, I don't want to give it to Mr. B or C, then I can sell it to someone else also. So in agreement to sell, seller still remains the owner. He or she can sell the goods to further buyer. In sale, buyer has become the owner, seller cannot resell the goods. So just go through these points and then we will cover third point of breach. We will be covering after break. So let's take a small break. It's already 3. Let's take a small break over here. Just go through the points of differences from the study material and then we take this class further. Thank you. All right, students, welcome back. I've gone through your queries. Differences, yes, Mr. Sabhojit, differences are definitely asked in exam also. Any question can come from the study material, children. So when we'll go through the mock test papers and revision papers, you will understand how different kind of questions can be framed from the study material. Mr. Sundaran C, yes, definitely it will be an agreement to sell where you have promised the buyer to deliver the goods after 1 week and you're making an agreement. So that will be the case of agreement to sell. In case of an agreement to sell, the seller only remains the owner. Why? Because the ownership gets transferred at a future date. Nishi Garg, once we open the differences from the study material, you will again understand at length about insolvency. All right. Miss Rishi Rathod, I hope you have found the link where the notes have been uploaded, the presentation. Yes, Mr. Likhit, the differences given over here are complete differences in the study material. They are sufficient. You don't need to go beyond that. Yes, Harshita, that's correct. All right. Okay, so no more queries. Just in REM, you're again asking Krishna Singh. Just in REM means when you get all the rights for that particular goods, and just in personam means you only get those rights against that particular person. Means you can only fight with that particular person who has agreed you to sell the goods tomorrow if he fails to sell it. So let's cover the, thank you, Sneha, and remedies of breach, Diksha. We're just going to cover that point. So I'm glad no more queries. Let's come back to this. Transfer of property point we have already covered. Let us understand the meaning of remedies for breach. So quickly tell me, what is the meaning of breach of contract? Breach का मतलब क्या होता है? You all know what is the meaning of breach? Diksha, Miss Diksha, what is the meaning of breach? Thank you, Pratyush. I'm glad you're finding law easy now. So good. Miss Angel Chavla is asking if we go to a boutique and pay for a dress, but we are going to get it after some time, some alterations are going to be done. Will it be an existing good or future goods? So very interesting. So once you have purchased the goods, you have made a contract of sale. Now, if you're doing further changes, it will be covered as an existing good because it is already existing over there. And rather, it would be a specific good because you're getting it designed and customized as per your choice. However, where the good is not readily available and the person is making an agreement with you to come at a future date and then collect the goods, then it will be a case of agreement to sale. All right. Breach means cancellation, breaking of the contract. Excellent. All of you have written a correct answer. All right. Breach means dhokha de dena. Very nice. So what happens when one breaches the contract? Law may, if you break any of the promises, if you do not fulfill the promises, then an action can be taken against you. I can drag you to the court. Harshita says, udhar dena. No, breach means breaking the contract. It's not lending money on, it's not, you don't become a debt. Failure to do the obligation. Mr. Yashas, very nice. If the contract is signed, yes, Hitesh, that is also correct. If the goods are destroyed is not the owner. Circumstances of destruction of goods we'll cover when we talk about section 7 and 8, so don't worry. So remedies for the breach of contract, what happens in this case is, breach, you all have written the correct answer, failure to fulfill your obligation. I promised you that I will be giving you the goods, and today I'm the seller. If I don't give you the goods, you can drag me to the court if you are the buyer. In an agreement to sell, I promised you to sell the goods. You can only claim the damages because the goods were still mine. I'm the seller. Now here, which is written in the study material, please write down. These are the remedies for the breach made by buyer. So if the buyer breaches the contract, what will happen? These are the cases which talks about what will happen if the buyer breaches the contract. So first we always have to remember who is the owner. सारी कहानी सेल एंड एग्रीमेंट टू सेल में डिपेंड करती है on the basis of who is the owner. So here you all know buyer is the owner. In an agreement to sell, we all know seller is the owner. Now if buyer has breached the contract, seller will sue him for the price of the goods. Why? Because passing of property has happened. I sold you this pen. Mr. Baib purchased this pen. How is buyer breaching? He will not make me the payment. यही होता है ना breaking of the promises. अभी आप सब ने लिखा breach क्या होता है. So what was the promise of buyer? That he will make me the payment. Now if he is not fulfilling my promise, I can sue him, means I can take him to the court because he has become the owner. He has to pay my price. Aggrieved party. Who is the aggrieved party over here? Seller. So aggrieved party is the person who has suffered the loss. कोर्ट में कौन होती है aggrieved party? जिसके साथ नुकसान हुआ है. Here seller can sue you only for the damages and not for the price, because goods तो आपके, payment तो अभी होनी थी. अभी तो seller was the owner of the goods. He was supposed to sell at a future date. So but still if you fail to fulfill the promise on a future date, I can claim the damages. Now you will ask me, ma'am, what kind of damages? Why are you claiming damages? So you told me that, ma'am, this is a nice water bottle. We want to buy 10 such bottles. And I said, okay, come after 1 month, I will manufacture these 10 water bottles for you. So don't you think tomorrow, this is an agreement to sell at a future date. I made 10 such water bottles. My cost, effort, money, labor, everything was charged. And tomorrow you said that you don't want to buy the goods. Now, when you breach the contract at a later date, don't you think I can claim my damages? I will not sue you for the prize money, but whatever efforts, time, cost, money, loss of profits, somebody else I might have invested my time somewhere else. I would have done more sales. So I could not earn that profit just because I was working on your water bottle. So here I can claim the damages. So in case of sale, you can sue the buyer. If buyer breaches the contract, you can sue him for the whole prize money. But in case of an agreement to sell, you can only sue him for the damages and not for the full price money. Now comes your favorite, insolvency. Now insolvency meaning is clear, that Diwaliya nikal jana, seller cannot make the payment. So here buyer cannot make the payment if he gets insolvent. And what happens if seller gets insolvent? He will not be able to sell the goods. So official assignee, who is an official assignee? Pehle ye samajh. So whenever a person is declared insolvent, under the Insolvency Act, an official assignee or a liquidator is appointed to take care of the assets. Say for example, Mr. A was declared insolvent. Children, I love to take the examples of A and B because they're very easy to remember and helps you to understand the concept also. So Mr. A was a seller. He got insolvent. What would have happened? His assets are not sufficient to pay off his liabilities. This is the meaning of insolvency. We just did the meaning of insolvency. Now what will happen? Court will appoint an official assignee. Whatever I'm speaking, keep writing down as short notes so that tomorrow you don't forget this entire history. Now, court will appoint an official assignee. Official assignee means a person who will take care of all the assets of Mr. A and see how many valuation has to be done, and he will pay off all the liabilities. So say, for example, there are 50K of assets left and there was 1 lakh of liability. So he will say what kind of rateable dividend needs to be paid to others so that everybody gets something. So there are 1 lakh buyers. 1 lakh buyer, 1 lakh payment needs to be made and 50,000 assets I am having. So now he will try to make the payment so that everybody gets something. All right. So even if full payment is not given, something will be given to each and every person so that they can completely claim the liabilities are disposed of. Now this official assignee is appointed, it's a court's person. He will take care of your assets because you have been declared insolvent. You cannot pay off the debts on your own. Now, what happens in case of insolvency of seller? An official assignee will not be able to take over the goods, but he will recover the price from the buyer. Now, in case of sale, who was the owner? फिर से अपनी स्टोरी में आ जाते वापस. Buyer was the owner. Goods have already been given to the buyer. You just want to recover the prize money. So official assignee cannot say that give our goods back because seller has declared insolvent. No, you can only fight for the prize money that see we have been declared insolvent. Now official assignee will go and recover your prize money. And in case of agreement to sell, you can have control over the goods because seller was himself the owner. तो उसका जो ऑफिशियल असाइनी होएगा वो खुद ही गुड्स अपने पास रख लेगा. प्राइस रिकवर की तो बात ही नहीं होती क्योंकि गुड्स ही हमारे पास ही थे. तो ऑफिशियल असाइनी विल एक्वायर कंट्रोल मींस ही विल टेक द गुड्स इन हिज कंट्रोल. क्लियर हो गया. इंसॉल्वेंसी ऑफ सेलर. नंबर 1, इन केस ऑफ सेल he will go and recover the prize money from the buyer. In case of an agreement to sell, since the goods were of seller only, so official assignee will take the control over the goods. Now let's move to the insolvency of buyer. अब बहुत मुश्किल आ गई. अब buyer insolvent हो गया, so he will not make me the money. What will happen if buyer is unable to make the payment? Buyer ने तो payment करनी थी, and यहाँ पे sale में buyer was the owner. So now if buyer is declared insolvent, official assignee of buyer will come and take the goods. He will say, okay, fine, we are making you the payments. Please give us the goods. Here he is the official assignee of buyer. Children, please understand. Official assignee उसी का ही है जो insolvent declare. Seller insolvent declare हुआ है तो seller का official assignee जाएगा और price money लेकर आएगा. Agreement to sell में वो goods ले लेगा. Buyer insolvent declare हुआ है तो buyer's official assignee will come. He will take the goods because buyer was the owner. Here he cannot take any control on the goods. Neither he will take the goods nor he will pay the price because story खत्म ही हो गई. हम तो जी insolvent declare हो गए. हमें goods नहीं चाहिए क्योंकि हम pay नहीं कर सकते. So insolvency means that you're not able to pay. Clear? Now insolvency of seller and buyer is clear. So what you have to keep in your mind while learning this concept, that number 1, insolvent person is one who cannot pay off his debts. He doesn't have sufficient money to pay. That's why he is declared insolvent. Number 2, when seller is declared insolvent, in case of sale, buyer is the owner. I can only take the prize money. In case of an agreement to sell, seller is the owner. He can take the goods. If buyer is declared insolvent, his official assignee will come and take the goods because buyer is the owner. In case of an agreement to sell, seller was the owner, so now buyer cannot do anything. Neither he will take the goods nor he will pay the price. All right? Clear ho gaya? Okay. Now let's move ahead to sale and hire purchase. It says sale resembles a lot with hire purchase. Indeed, the real object of a contract of hire purchase is the selling of the goods only. Now, children, now what topics that we're going to do is, it's named as sale is just different from similar contract. मतलब कुछ contracts ऐसे हैं जो आपको sale जैसे लगेंगे, but they are not in real the same. Like hire purchase, pledge, bailment. They look like you're selling the goods, but they're not actually sale of goods. They are different from the sale of goods. Hire purchase agreements are covered under Hire Purchase Act. Under Sale of Goods Act, only sale of goods is covered. Hire purchase has its own characteristics, features under Hire Purchase Act. It is not covered under sale. It is an agreement under which the goods are let on hire. Hire का मतलब क्या होता है, children? Hire means to give the goods on rent, under which the hirer means the person who has taken on rent, has an option to purchase them according to the terms of an agreement. So A said that A is a person, seller, who wants to sell his bike. B said, I will not buy your bike. Let's do an agreement of hire purchase agreement. Hire purchase का मतलब होता है रेंट पे चीज लेना और उसकी इंस्टॉलमेंट्स में पेमेंट करना, periodical payments करना. So B said this bike of 55,000, it's very heavy amount for me to pay. Why don't we do a hire purchase agreement? And he said that I will make you the payment 10,000 in first month, 10,000 in second month, 20,000 in third month. मेरी मर्जी मुझे ऐसे पे करना है. And 15,000 in the next month. And A said, okay, on the last installment of 15,000, हो गए ना 20, 30, 40, 50, 55. On the payment of last installment of 15,000, this bike will become your bike. Till then, it is only on rent. This is the meaning of hire purchase agreement. सेल में तो ये पेन मैंने आपको बेच दिया था, आप लेकर चले गए, आपने पेमेंट करी, आप ओनर बन. A sold the goods to B, B became the owner, he made the payment, ownership transfer. In case of an hire purchase, remember, it is a kind of goods taken on rent. Periodic payments are made. Only on the payment of last installment, the buyer becomes the owner. यहाँ पे लिखा भी हुआ है easy language में. Please read it. Possession of the goods is delivered means goods are given only on the basis of the periodical installments. Property means ownership. Property passes on the payment of last installment. Such a person has a right to terminate the agreement anytime. अब यहाँ पे seller कभी भी contract end कर सकता है. उसको लगे यार ये he is not making me the payment of 10,000 on time. He can cancel the contract and he can sell the bike to someone else. Why? Because in the hire purchase, seller remains the owner. Like under agreement to sell, seller was the owner. Hire purchase may be seller will remain the owner unless and until the last installment is paid. Now let us do the points of differences between sale and hire purchase. So I give you 2 minutes. Just read these points of differences so that we can clearly understand. Yes, I hope you all have read this. Meanwhile, I got time to go through your queries also. So children, what happens in case of sale is property in the goods get transferred to the buyer immediately. Very clear. Here the property will get transferred only on the payment of last installment. So as it is definition, you have to write in the first point. Here, position of the party buyer becomes the owner immediately. Here, hirer is acting as a bailee. Who is bailee? I told you pledgee and bailee. Somebody who is just keeping the goods of other person. They are not your, this is not your bike. Now, Mr. B has to be very careful because he has not become the owner. So he should not hit the bike badly, or there should not be any scratches on the bike because you're not the owner. If you have bought the bike, you are the buyer, you become the owner, you do whatever you want to. You आप उसके सारे आपने खोल कर चीजें देखनी है बाइक की, आपने स्क्रैच करना है, स्क्रेबल करना है, whatever you want to do, you can do. But in hire purchase, you're acting as a bailee till the last installment. Bailee is the person to whom the goods have been given for certain use and he has not become the owner yet. Like you have given the gold to the banker, banker cannot start wearing your gold because you have taken loan. No, he's acting as a bailee. He has to be very careful with your things. He can only sell it if you don't pay the money. Similarly, under hire purchase, hirer is acting as a bailee means you have to be taking care of the thing because it belongs to somebody else. Seller is the owner, you are not the owner. Here, buyer cannot terminate the contract. You cannot say that you have purchased my pen and now you want to cancel the contract. You have to pay me the price. Once contract of sale has happened, buyer cannot terminate the contract. But here you hire, you have taken on rent. So you drive the bike, you did not find it nice. You thought, yeah, I'm charging quite high money. You will say that, ma'am, I want to terminate the contract, return the goods without any liability to pay the remaining installments. So you paid me 10,000 in the first month. You paid me 10,000 in the second month. You did not like the bike. You can return. You have the option under hire purchase to return the goods, and you're not even supposed to pay the remaining installments. The seller takes the risk of any loss resulting from insolvency of buyer. अब insolvency of buyer में क्या होगा? What will happen if the buyer has declared insolvent? Seller will have to bear the loss. If buyer is not ready to take the goods, seller bears the loss. Buyer says, I have declared insolvent, now I cannot buy your goods, or maybe I cannot pay you the price. Remember, in case of sale, we just discussed, buyer will not be able to pay the full price, so seller will have to bear this risk. Here, owner has no risk. Hirer fails to pay any installment, I will just come and take my goods back. Simple. There, I cannot take my goods back. Now, I have to recover the money. Official assignee मुझे जो भी पैसा देगा मुझे उससे लेना है. Insolvency of buyer we just did right now. No. Official assignee will have the control of the goods and he will pay me a ratable dividend. I just told you that some amount has to be paid to all the persons. So official assignee will pay me certain amount. He might not make the full payment, but I cannot take the goods back. Seller will have to bear the loss. In hire purchase, I will simply go and tell him, look, you have been declared insolvent, give my goods back. Installments वापस करनी कर दो. If he will not pay for the installment, you have the right to take the goods back. Here, buyer can resell the goods, but hire purchaser can never resell the goods because you're not the owner. Buyer can pass a good title to a bona fide purchaser. Bona fide means in real. Somebody who is a real buyer or legal. कोई भी legal buyer अगर आपके पास आएगा, you purchase this pen from me and you want to sell it further, you have the right. You can sell the pen further. But if this pen was given to you on hire purchase, then you cannot sell it further because you have not become the owner. Simple. Let's do the differences between sale and bailment also. Bailment is also, children, very, very, very simple. Let me again see if there are any doubts and then we can continue. Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of bailment? Meanwhile, I'm looking into your doubts. Good. Many of you have written that we have clearly understood hire purchase also. Proud of you, students. Yes, Sahana, it's a genuine. Nishi Garg, you don't need to find out who is the official assignee. That is court's duty. You just need to know who is official assignee. If seller cancels the contract, Gangama, he is not terminating the contract. We were talking about the breach of contract. So the buyer can sue him and he can recover the goods. In case of sale, he can drag him to the court because the ownership has been transferred. Yes, Rohani Jain. He can sue him for the damages in case of insolvency. That's correct. Okay, Sneha Gupta, definitely we'll talk about that topic as well. Hire purchase. Can seller recover the damages if buyer becomes insolvent? Miss Tanvi, if buyer becomes insolvent, then we just discussed that he will have to bear the loss. He cannot recover the damages. He has to bear the loss of recovering the money. Here, the seller is fighting for his prize money. Okay. So whatever ratable dividend the official assignee of buyer will be paying, he will also get that. But in an agreement to sell, definitely he can claim the damages, not the price. Mr. Suchang, yes, it's like an EMI, but it is not the case of EMI. EMI means monthly installments. Children, please understand, hire purchase is different from sale by installments. Say, for example, you purchase a Hyundai car from the showroom and you made the payment of 1 lakh and you said 4 lakh I have taken the loan from the bank and you keep on paying the EMIs to the bank. Here it is a contract of sale. Ownership gets immediately transferred to you. You take the car back home. So there is a thin line of difference between hire purchase. Under hire purchase, it is covered under Hire Purchase Agreement Act. Okay, it has its own characteristics and features. Here you are taking the things on rent. Although the structure is same, it is taken on rent and monthly or periodic installments are being paid. Okay, but the ownership gets transferred later. Yes, Mr. Sundaran, see, that's absolutely correct. It's all about the ownership getting transferred at the last payment. In credit sale, it's a case of sale. You cannot say credit sales and hire purchase are same. Credit sale is part of sale of goods. Hire purchase is on installments where the rental, you have taken the things on rent and installment payments are being made. Mr. Hitesh, this part will be covered under section 7 and 8, goods perishing once the agreement has been made. So just hold on, let me reach to that topic, then I will explain. Mr. Saurabh, if it has to be seen, if seller becomes insolvent, then goods have to be recovered because sale was already made. So you're writing why the goods have to be recovered, because you have already sold the goods. So now the official assignee has to only recover the prize money. So if you are the seller, you are writing Mr. Ray is the seller, you have made him the payment. So if seller becomes insolvent, his official assignee can only recover the prize money if it was the case of sale. Yes, Gangama, if he cancels the contract, he can restore the things, whatever. If he has paid further, he can recover the same things. All those who have written the definition of bailment, excellent. It means giving the goods to someone for a purpose. Very nice, Chandana. Bailment, if I made an agreement, give him a book for a certain time. Mr. Saurabh, excellent example. Bailment means transfer of goods from one to another. Thank you, Ms. Lahari, saying class is very interesting. I'm happy. Janvi is saying she's getting exhausted. Too many things we have done today. So, but still you have to cooperate because 2 hours and we have to complete maximum as much as we can. Okay. Yes, Krishnanan Upadhyay, listen carefully now, all of you. Bailment, many of you have written wonderful answers for bailment. Very nice. Asha Begum is asking transportation time if goods get lost. You have to wait for this topic to be covered under delivery of goods. So it's a huge length discussion. Who will bear the loss if the goods get destroyed on transportation? So this answer will be covering at that time. Okay. All right. So bailment, what is the meaning of bailment? Bailment means where you're giving the custody of goods to another person. Say, for example, one of the student, Miss Urvashi, came to me. So Urvashi, are you getting confused? So pay attention over here. Let's solve your confusion of bailment. So Urvashi came to me and she said, ma'am, my study material has not yet come. Can I borrow your study material? So I said, she said, can I borrow your study material? I'm not selling it. I gave my study material to Urvashi. Now, what is Urvashi's responsibility? After studying, she's supposed to give it back to me? Yes or no? Yes, obviously that is my book. It's my study material. I love my law book. I love my study material. I want it back after you have studied it. So you will study it carefully. You will not scribble in that because you are acting as a bailee. And after studying, when your purpose is fulfilled, you will return the book to ma'am. This is what happens in the general scenario. When we take goods from someone, let's take another example. Rahul is a very good friend of Mohan. And he said, Mohan, that you have purchased a nice Levi's jeans. Why don't I borrow it from you for some days? So Mohan said, yaar, you are my buddy, best friend. Take my jeans. The size is same for both of us. Why don't you wear it for a few days? Now, if Rahul has taken Mohan's jeans, he can use it for wearing it. After that, he should wash it, clean it, and give it back to him. All of transactions which I'm telling you of giving a book or lending a jean for using it for certain purpose and returning it, these are the cases of bailment. Bailment can be a gratuitous bailment or non-gratuitous. Means you can either pay something for it or non-pay. You said, okay, teacher, we want to pay you 10 rupees per day for buying this book for this bailment transaction. That is also fine. I said, okay, Nia, I'm doing it out of love and respect. That is also fine. So gratuitous and non-gratuitous means it can either be paid or non-paid. But here you are only giving the custody of the goods. Possession means you are only giving the custody of the goods. You are not giving the ownership of the goods. Rahul will not become the owner of jeans. Urvishi will not become the owner of the study material. I remain the owner. Mohan remain the owner of jeans. This is known as the case of bailment. So all of you will write down with me. In bailment, two parties are involved, bailer and bailee. Bailee has to take care of the goods of bailer. Why? Because he is not the owner. He is not the owner. So who remains the owner? The bailer remains the owner. Who remains the owner? The bailer remains the owner. And he needs to return the goods after fulfillment of purpose. So this is the case of bailment. Two parties, bailer, bailee are involved. Bailee has to take care of the goods as a man of ordinary prudence, children. आप स्कूल में कभी किसी की पेंसिल बोरो करते थे कुछ लिखने के लिए, तो उस पेंसिल को तोड़ तो नहीं देते थे ना, इसको वापस करते थे अपने फ्रेंड को कि सी यार मैंने तेरी पेंसिल बोरो करी, अब ये ले. So that is a transaction of bailment. You have to be careful when you are using the other person's thing, because you are not becoming the owner, you are only having the possession of the goods with you. So owner remains bailer only, and after the fulfillment, after the fulfillment of the purpose means after you have done, used the thing, you have to return it to the other party. All right. All right, let's move ahead now. I hope bailment is clear to everyone. Here the property gets transferred immediately. Here only possession is getting transferred. Goods cannot be returned because sale has happened. Higher bailee must return the goods. Consideration is must to be in money in case of sale. Here the consideration can be gratuitous means seva bhav se. Non-gratuitous means payment to be made. Let us quickly cover the contents from my presentation also. So the same sale and agreement to sell we've already covered. Hire purchase is also done. Bailment is also done. Let's now read the point of contract for work and labor. Now there can be a different type of contract for work and labor also. Children, when you go to a goldsmith and you give him certain amount of gold, and you asked him that take this gold and prepare a beautiful necklace for me. So you gave him gold of yours and he melts that gold. He did entire finishing and all those kind of things, and he made necklace out of that. Now when you went to buy from him, will it be considered as a transaction of sale? Is he selling you the goods? He said, okay, fine. I have made the necklace for you. Is it a transaction of sale? Law says this is a transaction of contract for work and labor. Somebody has put his labor into your gold. Somebody has made a different kind of services have been given to you. This is a kind of a service which can only be provided by so he needs to be paid for that also. That is why it will not be considered as a sale of necklace. It will be considered as a contract of work and labor. So all those cases where a work of labor is involved, See, for example, this is a very, very interesting and important case law. Lee versus Griffin. In this case law, children, what happened? A dentist made a set of false teeth for a person. So that lady said that you have only made a pair of false teeth for me. I will only pay you for that. He said, but I also did the fitting in your mouth. I did my task of labor. Only a dentist can do that. Can a chartered accountant help in fitting the teeth? You cannot do that now. A businessman or a chartered accountant or even an engineer cannot do that. Only a doctor who is dentist can do that. So in Lee versus Griffin, it's very interesting case law. Read it from your study material today as a homework. It was said that the lady had to pay for the contract for work and labor. That means for the false teeth that she got and also for the labor that went behind for putting that teeth in her mouth. So this is the kind of contract for work and labor. It is simply where no goods are sold, but certain services are being rendered. Although children's services are not part of sale of goods, but where certain work of labor is done, there we call it contract for work and labor. And it is different from sale of goods. Now let's come to how contract of sale is made. Now this is simply talking about all the essential elements of a valid contract must be present. There must be an offer made by the seller, acceptance given by the buyer, consideration has to be there. What is the consideration? It should be a monetary consideration. There can be an immediate delivery or you can pay a future delivery. Immediate delivery is known as the case of sale and future delivery is known as the case of agreement. Both immediate delivery and payment of price can be done or it can be done in installments. I told you EMI monthly installments is the case of sale where we took car on EMI. That is different from hire purchase. Or both the things can be paid in future dates also. Cash sales, credit sales, both are part of contract of sale. Now, what is the subject matter of contract of sale? Always the subject matter is the goods. We have already discussed the types of goods. Now, let's come back to this topic of perishing goods. Let me just complete this whole topic. Then we will exclusively talk about doubts and some MCQs questions also. What is the subject matter of contract? The subject matter of contract of sale of goods is always goods. Now, there can be situation. Many of you, Mr. Saurabh, Ayushi, Mr. Bisht, many of you have asked this question in your queries also. So please pay attention. I will listen to these queries, those which you have written right now later on, but let me just cover this thing. Yes, Ms. Sahana, personal skill is involved. That's excellent. Nishi Garg says we want to cover this next time. We have covered too many things. I can understand, child, but you know, we have to complete the syllabus only within few days. So, a chota sa topic ek kar lete hain and then we'll stop. So, goods perishing. Perishing means when the goods get destroyed before making the contract or before sale, but after agreement to sell. So now what happens is many a times, see the same example of waterlogging, the rainfall that is happening. Sometimes A and B made a contract and they were sitting on the business table and were contracting on a cup of coffee that I will sell you my 50 bags of wheat today. But both of them were not aware that due to the fire in the godown or maybe due to waterlogging, some disaster management happened and those 50 bags of wheat has got destroyed. Children, do you remember the case of impossibility of performance under Indian Contract Act? Can we still consider this agreement to be valid? Yes or no? You tell. What will happen to this agreement? What will it become? Will it remain a valid agreement? Will it still remain a valid agreement? Answer me. What will happen to this agreement? I can see you people getting tired. Just last topic and then we will jump into the another one. MCQs, Tamanna is asking. Yes, ma'am, it will remain valid. No, ma'am, it will become void. Very good. Sahana, Janvi, Venkate Lakshmi, Angel, is correct. Void, it will become void. Vidushi, Dipanshu, Komal, Archita, all of you are correct. Anshika, P. Yamini, Satya. See, when you answer me, then it becomes that you're awake. Miss Gangama. R. Satya says it's a bilateral mistake. No, I'm saying both of us are not aware. So the agreement becomes void. Absolutely correct, children. So similar is the case with goods. If the goods, yes, Fiza, it's correct. Hitesh, it's correct. All of you have written the correct answer, children. So if such an agreement will completely become void if the goods have got destroyed. So it gives you simply two cases. The goods destroyed without the knowledge of the parties. So we were not aware, then agreement becomes void. But say, for example, we have already made an agreement and after that, the goods got destroyed, then also the agreement to sell can be avoided. In both the cases, it becomes void. Here it writes, because the risk had not been passed to the buyer. Now let me just change the question. Dhyan se sunna. If after the contract of sale has been made, if A made a contract of sale with B and informed B that his goods are ready, who will bear the loss if goods get destroyed now? If A made a contract of sale, both were the cases of agreement to sell. Before making the contract, if goods got destroyed, avoid it. After making the agreement to sell, risk was not passed, you can avoid it. Now, if I made a contract of sale with B and informed that the goods are ready, who will bear the loss if the goods get destroyed? You have to answer me the same quickly. Sale becomes void, buyer can claim the payment. So when the sale, what happens when the sale becomes void, Mr. Sundaran? See, remember it becomes unenforceable by law. All the consequences of void will become applicable. B will bear the loss. Excellent. Prem and Dipanshu are saying seller. Dipanshu has said buyer, right? Prem says seller, no, seller will not. Janvi, seller will not. Rohani, no, seller will not. All those who have written buyer will bear the loss. I'm super proud of you. Great, correct answer. Because after the contract of sale has been made, it will remain a valid contract. Now, I've already informed you, it is your moral responsibility and duty to come and get the goods collected. What happened in real life situations, how the loss is born and bear, that is a different story. But it is very important to understand why you are saying buyer will bear the loss. Because property has now been passed. The risk has been passed to the buyer. That is the major reason why we say the buyer will bear the loss. All right, let me see if we can do a few MCQs. All right, let's do this MCQ. If X asked why an artist to paint a portrait, please read this one and give me the answers, children. And all those who want to read, send their queries can send it. Miss Lahari is asking if we give a cycle to mechanic shop for repairing, is it bailment? Yes, definitely. It is a bailment. Mr. Saurav, if delivery of goods is not made, then when we go to the chapter 3, transfer of ownership and possession, there we talk about modes of delivery. There we will understand in detail what happens if delivery is delayed. Constructive delivery, Mr. Sundaran, again you're asking, constructive delivery means if somebody is holding the goods on your behalf. So I told Ms. Sundaran that please go and collect your goods from Mr. Hitesh. He is holding the goods on your behalf. I have sold the goods to him. Why don't you go and take your goods from him? Now Mr. Hitesh called up Mr. Sundaran and he told him that your goods are lying with me. So this is a constructive delivery. I did not deliver the goods to Mr. Sundaram, but I framed the structure in such a way that delivery has set to happen. Yes, Miss Pizza Afreen. When we go to chapter number 3 and we talk about passing of property and risk, this point of custody will get clear over there. Okay, don't worry. Mr. Suryansh Saraswat, already the presentation and notes of this chapter have been uploaded on the portal. You can check it once again. All right. And all those who have given B, the contract of work and material, this is the correct answer. Mr. Kave is asking how the seller becomes insolvent. Okay, let me just stop screen share because you're still sending the queries. Okay, send me your queries, very less time is left. She says how the seller becomes insolvent. If seller does not have sufficient money to pay off his debts, he is declared insolvent. Insolvent का मतलब होता है हिंदी में दिवालिया निकल जाना, जब आपके पास इतना कैश नहीं बचता, आपकी पेमेंट्स नहीं आ रही है एंड आपके पास पैसा नहीं है आगे अपने डेटर्स क्रेडिटर्स को पे करने के लिए, then court declares you insolvent. Tamanna, A was the wrong answer. It was B in the previous question. Miss Sahana, you have also given the wrong answer. Contract of work and material was the correct answer. Miss Janvi, just revise whatever we have covered. We are still left with one topic of Unit 1. So we have to start it on Wednesday. We have to complete it. Okay, don't worry, children. At times we feel that there's too much syllabus because it's very new for you. So I'm trying to be with all of you as much as we can cover so that we are not left with any of the things. Okay, that is also important. We cannot leave any topics in between. Miss Shruti Tiwari is saying I'm a little worried because it is my second attempt. So Shruti, let me tell you and anyone else who is preparing for the second attempt, the real feeling of success is seen by those who have fallen once and then arisen. So if I cleared my foundation at the very first level, I have never experienced what happens if I would have failed and then I would have arisen. So always remember, success is always felt beautifully by those, because you will definitely try to work in more hard. And if you're asking me, ma'am, will I get late to be a chartered accountant? You never get late. Even if you study today nicely, the only thing that's going to pay is your hard work and motivation. Trust me, children, God help those who help themselves. Remember, we have been listening to this proverb. If you will give your 100%, He's always there to help you. But never think that in CA that you're not putting in much effort and you will clear it. No, then I am also not going to help. You have to be sincere, you have to be obedient, and it's very normal. हो जाता है कई बारी पास नहीं होते हैं. It takes an attempt. Try to figure out what went wrong. Why I was not able to reach that level. Little more effort, little more push is required, and stay constantly motivated. That is the real essence and beauty of this degree. It teaches you a lot, not just clearing of exams, it helps you to succeed in your personal life also, because that is the real challenge and hard work that we go through in this course. All right. So all of you always remember to revise your content, always make a timetable, make a chart, give equal weightage and importance to your subjects. Thank you, Mr. Rupam, sir. Thank you, Nishi. Okay, Mr. R.N. Raj, we will cover perishable points once again. Don't worry. Asha Begum, gratuitous means without any payment. अगर आप किसी के लिए सेवा भाव से कुछ करते हैं, तो आप किसी को अपनी बुक लेंड कर रहे हैं, तो आपने चार्ज नहीं करा उसके लिए. So gratuitous bailment means without any payment. Thank you, Krishna Nandan Upadhyay. Isn't it fall on the contract of sales in the last service? Miss Sahana, where work of labor is involved, then we call it contract for work and labor. Thank you, Miss Nishi Garg. Thank you, Rohani. Thank you, Gangama. Thank you, children. Thank you, Aish Minal. Yes, Pratyush, we will talk about my CA journey someday. But here my major criteria is that we should cover the syllabus. That's why we always left behind time. So maybe when someday time permits, I will definitely talk about that as well. Mr. Saurav, your homework is read about insolvency of seller and buyer carefully. Sit down with a pen and pencil in hand. Remember, in case of sale, buyer is the owner. In case of an agreement to sell, seller is the owner. Then read this point of insolvency. It will become clear. Okay. Still you have a doubt, I will clear it on Wednesday. All right. Thank you, children. Thank you so much. We have already done and the time is also over. Thank you, Vidisha. Thank you, Nishi. Thank you, Sneha. All right. Venkata Lakshmi. Thank you so much, children. All right. Thank you, students. See you all on Wednesday. Revise what we have done. We will be finishing off with this chapter and we'll be starting with the definition of conditions and warranties on Wednesday. Thank you.